Boom. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I appreciate you for rocking with us and hanging with us. Tight. Let's change that. Boom, boom, bam. Thank you, thank you for another installation with the brothers. So make sure you share. Um, Make sure you share and tag somebody that should be a part of this conversation. It's definitely imperative. And all my replay viewers, I appreciate you. My podcasters, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part. And just make sure you're here. So if it's your first time here, let us know. If you're watching us on replay, put hashtag replay. We appreciate you. Lisa in the building. Great morning to you. Thank you for being here. Blessings, always blessings. Like I said, make sure you share. Let everybody know that we are here. We are right here. And we're going to have a great conversation talking about expanding our unification outside of just us. And so this is going to be interesting. Good morning, Yvonne. Great morning to you. So my brothers will be here shortly. If not, it'll just be me and us. So, and listen, like I said, tag somebody in this conversation, because I know most of these conversations have been had privately with someone else. And you're like, we just had this conversation. We were just talking about this. And if you couldn't reach a resolve, that's great, because this is a place to have it. What's up, Cheryl, sports car lady in the building? Great morning to you guys. I appreciate you guys always here supporting and hanging out with us every single morning, because we do not take it for granted. I thank you for that. But yeah, so it's, like I said, a lot of these conversations I know have been had privately. So this is an opportunity to be a part of this conversation, and bring bring your home discussions here, right in this space, because this is probably the best place to have it, because then you can see if you were right or you were wrong. Have us back you up. All right. Let's see. Do that. Bam. Good morning, Pastor.
Morning.
I didn't put my headphones out. Let's do that. Bam.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. Happy Wednesday. All right, let's go. Let's see. There we go. And the earth.
Lisa, mother. So Steve
All
on.
right, Corey in the building. All right. So we're going to have an amazing conversation today. This is going to be good. All right. So stay tuned, and spliggity splow. We'll be right back. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Good morning. What's up, everybody? This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Whether you're trying to up your production or just go live, StreamYard is the place to be. Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Flocknote. Start your free text community now at bit.ly free text now. That's bit.ly free text now. All right. In the building. All right. What's up, E? Good morning, sir. Great to see you. What's up, V? Good morning, ma'am. Great to see you as well. All right. D. Goodson is in the building. The gang is all here.
Gentlemen.
The gang is all here.
We don't have the floating head today.
All right.
not today.
Not today. Oh man. So let's see where we're at. So just a quick programming note. Well, not really programming note. From something we spoke about yesterday. I'm getting a little echo. Um,
No,
Something we spoke about yesterday. Do you hear
No,
that?
I hear
we
No,
don't hear
you.
the echo.
I
it's
just hear you echoing, but
it's probably you, Pastor. Just cut your mic, speaker down a little bit. Yo, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Okay, if it's not bothering anybody else, I can deal with it. So, oh, we're talking about Mr. So Dante Wright. Am I saying that's his name right? Did I say it correctly? If y'all know Dante Wright, right? Because I've watched a couple of things on him. Um, so apparently he was pulled over uh, for having air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there, like the reasoning for even pulling him over, because I'm guessing the car was in his mother's name, because I saw an interview with the mother and the father. Um, they weren't angry enough. Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. Yes. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I guess once you hear it, you go crazy, and maybe over time you calm down. The situation never happened. I don't know. Like I probably would have been cool until they said, till the lights came on and the camera started, and having to hear the story again, because if you see the interview, the father, he was like he was sad. I don't know. Like I just be, like in this climate, I wouldn't want my son to become a hashtag. You know, like because that's what it is. Like justice for Dante. Like I would be. Oh, he's in there. Okay, cool. What's up, Kathy? Good morning to you. Sorry, we're having side combo. Um, um. So I think I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's like I never knew. Is that illegal there? That you know of, Dwayne? I guess maybe it's state to state. Because I
you
know
know,
some.
there's a lot of things that are against codes and statutes. I
Right.
don't want to call them criminal, but there are a lot of things that are against code and statutes that
Okay.
normally officers have the discretion. And
Right. Right.
and most officers, there's certain things that most officers just not going to do. I'll give you a quick, easy one.
Right.
The light on the license plate.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Okay.
That's the Georgia law. At nighttime, you must have your license plate illuminated.
Okay.
And if not, it's reason for me to pull you over.
I got
Most
you.
people use that as just PC to pull you over, to smell your car, to get inside, see
Right.
if you look crazy, and then it's a
Right.
done deal after that. So, but
I got you. I got you.
the rear view mirror,
Yeah.
really, the little tree.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you killed somebody. Wow.
Right. Right.
or
So
the
that
reason
I
why you
just
pull them
kind of
over.
right. Right. That's
No,
yeah. That's
That's been a thing for a long time because they figured that the chances are anybody that has that tree hanging in the you tell me if this is wrong. They assume that there's weed in the car.
Me personally, I mean, I know what weed smell like, and I'm pretty good
wow.
at air fresheners. And just being real, if you got a tree hanging, that ain't finna cover no weed.
Nothing is
That
going to
ain't even,
cover weed
yeah,
if you're smoking in the car.
yeah, that
Oh
ain't
yeah,
even gonna
that's true.
cover. That
That's
ain't
true.
even gonna cover Reggie.
That's
And
true.
if you smoking some diesel, some gas, some jet fuel, the new names they got for it, that definitely ain't. You ain't doing
Right.
yourself no favors with that.
Right.
But there are a lot of
So
people. I did hear that before, though, Pastor.
okay.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Just kind of wanted to share that little tidbit there. This makes this story even harder. But so today we're talking about uniting with other minorities. I know we spoke about uniting with each other. as much as that is possible. So during the week I've been talking about the 13%, and the 13% represents, from based on what I read in the census, how I read it in the census anyway, it seems like that's the African American population, 13% of us in the country, because then it breaks down the other races from Chinese to Hispanics and things of that nature. I want to ask you guys, because a lot of the fight, like, okay, the police brutality thing, granted, as we constantly see, or at least being shown, that it's more of us on more of us being oh, okay. If more of us are being targeted, um how can I explain? Okay, more of us being targeted. Is it should we try to get other races involved, to help in the fight, because it's not about just about us, but it's about injustice. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, but I think there are more races involved already.
Right.
All over the country, and in fact, all over the world.
Right. Write that number down. Okay.
I don't feel like, I don't think it's necessary to call out other races as much as it is necessary to just say, be more involved. Right? Because when you say we should be more engaged, it should be a message to the general population. Anyone who agrees with the fact that this problem exists should be engaged. Right? I think we have to get, and the thing is, if we're going to improve race relations, don't we have to stop targeting races? RACES.
Okay.
As opposed to targeting RACISTS.
I got you. Target. So so targeting other races as opposed to just the racist. Basically.
Yeah, I don't believe, like, if we're going to improve race relations,
right,
we have to stop targeting races.
Right. I got you.
Targeting racists.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you're saying target those that are against, or target those that are like us?
I'm saying let's like, if you're looking for other people to get engaged,
right.
I don't want to say we need more white people to be engaged, or we need more Latino people to be engaged. I don't want to target other races.
Okay.
I want to send a message that says anyone who agrees or supports the fact that we have systemic oppression and issues and social injustices in this nation should get engaged.
Right.
I don't want to say white people, you should get more engaged, or Asians, you should get more engaged. I don't want to target races.
Okay.
I want to send a message that goes out to the general population that says, if you agree that this is a problem, you should be engaged.
Right.
And not target races and say there's not enough of a particular group, because that promotes the concept of racism.
Right. I feel I got you.
Because I'm targeting a specific race, saying you're not doing anything.
Do your part. Why your hands in your pocket? Get on up here.
Right.
Now I'm with E. E, me and E is kind of in the same. Ephraim is kind of in the same vein. It says when we combine with other races, we have to have the same foundational beliefs. I was thinking of it this way. In real life, I rock with who rock with me.
Right.
And sometimes that's people that look like me. Sometimes it may be people who don't look like me.
Right.
But I know blacks who don't like Africans, who don't like Black Americans, who don't like Black Africans. Why? Oh, I don't know. They don't like us, so I don't like them. I mean, regardless of the reasoning.
Yeah.
But
but think about what you just said. The reality is, it begins with, and I'm, in my experience, that doesn't begin with us. It begins with folks who come from the motherland.
Mm-hmm.
And because what you said is this person not liking them is a reaction. It's a response to them not liking that person.
Right.
It's a reaction.
And in many cases, that may be true. I can't completely call it true because I've had several, but then again, I'm a friendly person, and I guess it kind of goes back to the. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't like quoting stuff that sounds like it's Bible that is not Bible.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
Good.
but if you want you must show yourself friendly if you want friends.
Right.
Yeah, he that is to have friends must first show himself friendly.
Okay,
right.
so that's me. You can put me in a room with anybody. You put me anywhere in the world, I'm gonna make a friend,
Right.
or at least somebody that I can sit down and have a decent conversation with, and we ain't want to tear each other's eyes out. I've had conversation with Iraqi imams, with atheists, and it's funny how that just the way you, not all people, but some, the way you are in a conversation can change a mind of that they've held for years.
Right.
I'm in the airport, and I had, and then here's the thing: we all have our generalizations, our biases, our stereotypes that we hold near and dear.
Right.
I'm in the airport, and there's this white gentleman. He's sitting like 3 seats down from me, and in my head, I was like, "Yeah, he probably done dropped the N-bomb in his head about me 5 or 6 times." Oh, he looked like he don't like black people. Look at it. He looked like he hate me right now. You know what? 5 minutes later, me and this man started having a conversation, and you know what was at the center of that conversation? Jesus and helping other people.
Right.
He was on his way to another country to take shoes to kids in a village, and me and him had a 30-minute conversation that was productive. So what am I saying? What am I saying is this: we can talk theoretics, and that's great because we have to have a strategy. Mm-hmm. But if you're not actively trying to build bridges, you need to sit down at somebody's table and get equipped so you can do that. Because the thought of us being attacked, well, look, that's real simple. We've been attacked since the first police was in America.
Right.
We've been the object and the target since vagrancy laws, and then before vagrancy laws, we were the point of focus with the runaway slave catchers, and then the overseers. I mean, so the focus of what we're talking about hasn't changed since blacks came over on boats. That hasn't changed. People's hearts have changed, because if you go back 40, 50 years, there was some white people that rocked with us and fought with us and got beaten, dogs got sicked on them, and water hoses got hit with them.
Hey, well,
that was a small number. I think the more people stop just seeing what we bring to the table and start seeing us, the stronger the movement becomes.
True. So for E, that question, it was about, I think I had 41. Yeah, it was about 41 million. Well, 42, like 42 million. So you're right around that number. And he also asks, when we combine with other races, do we have to have the same foundational beliefs?
No, there's only one that we have to agree on. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Created equal, right. And totally agreement with that. Yeah, so I don't think it needs to get that deep. We know what justice is. We know what needs to be done, and all of us live equally. So let me ask you guys this: your friends, your social media friends, and maybe even your outside of social media friends that are not of the same race and or belief system, you have, and not really just talking like white people, but just every other races.
I think it's important to say hue, because it's really all about the color of your skin. It's not about your race.
Yeah, that's true.
You can be Dominican and be mistaken for just another black man.
That is true. So have you guys seen any support for some of the black causes on their timelines and things of that nature?
Let me correct you. You can be Dominican and you won't be mistaken for another black man. You are just another black man.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably, but right.
Not a mistake. You are just another black man. You
Right.
just happen to be of Dominican descent.
Right.
Unless you're one of those blonde hair, blue eyed Dominicans.
You're still of the same. I mean, the reality is, it
You'll
all
pass maybe
begins
a
with
minute.
us.
Maybe in the car. In the car, you'll get by. You'll get
just don't talk. Just don't talk.
Right.
Okay, Papa. Papa, don't don't say nothing, Papa.
But so let me. So have you seen any support
50-50.
From others?
50-50.
So you personally seen that? Okay.
Yeah, I mean some I didn't unfriend. I just unfollowed. I don't want to see anything else they ever got to say, but maybe I say something.
So some have been pro, some have been against.
Yeah, so it's 50-50. So and then I seen the ones that's like, yo, we still at this. It was like I really thought that this was dead, like in the 60s, and we still at this in 2020. Right. Yeah, so there's some that are appalled, and then there was some that were out of touch because it wasn't the life that they lived, but because they knew. And most of them was from the military, so it's already a hodgepodge. There's every race every day for people in the military, and then a handful of them was from law enforcement, and some of the ones in law enforcement, and this is no surprise, some of the ones, not all the ones, but some of the ones in law enforcement, I had to be like, you know what, I'm good on you.
Right.
You got a gun and a badge doing this time, and this how you really believe, and you're not I'm good on you.
Right. Okay. What about you, Pastor? Have you seen what does your timeline look like, or real life look like, as far as others that didn't look like us, that weren't white, with other hues? How was their response to some of the injustices that were focused on us?
So you mean my contacts that don't look like me? What has been their response to what we've been?
Or have they responded? Yeah. Have you seen any response?
I mean, it's the same thing with what Dwayne just alluded to. Okay. I've had contacts. I won't say friends.
I got you.
There's been a great exposure.
Right. Who I thought was a friend. I had him in the wrong box.
Yeah, you thought, you're friends with someone that's not really a friend of yours.
Right. Right.
But what I realize is friendship has levels to it.
Okay.
Because an acquaintance can be considered a friend.
Right.
But not a true friend. Okay. Right? You can be friendly with somebody, which makes them a friend.
Right.
But have very, very little relationship.
Right.
So now what I've learned to do is I have friends and I have brothers and sisters. Right? Because to be my brother, I call you family.
Right.
And so what I've seen in my experience with some of my contacts is I've learned that we're not on the same page. Remember the 3 C's, right?
Yep. Comrade, confidant, and what's that last one?
Constituent.
There you go.
Yes.
And what I've learned is that I've had comrades, who have now changed teams.
All right.
Because a comrade, you're in cahoots with one another as long as you wear the same colors, as long as you're on the same page.
Right.
But the minute the dynamics change, you're no longer connected. Right. And that's what has happened. And so it's like changing teams, getting traded to another team in athletics. As long as we both Lakers, we ride or die together. But the minute you get traded to the Timberwolves, you have now become my enemy. Doesn't matter how many championships we won, now I'm against you. And that's what I've seen happen with a lot of people. Now, I won't say a lot. I've seen it happen with several people that I was kind of close to. And it wasn't that they came to me or anything like that. It's just I watched them in their actions, their behavior.
Right.
Watch them distance themselves. And then I watched them on social media.
Right.
And I realized, that's why we're not talking anymore. Right. But I push back, I challenge them. right? I've gone to people that I considered friends, and I've said,
Right.
if I don't hear you,
Right.
that speaks volumes about who you really are, as far as I'm concerned. And if I do hear you and it's not consistent, that speaks volumes.
Right.
Right. So if you're going to say anything, say it now so that I know where we stand. And I've said that. I've challenged people that I'm connected to, even at work.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
Can I share a quick story with you after this too?
Made me want to cry.
Wow.
Because they on the battlefield,
right?
And they pushing the agenda,
right.
And I'm like, you know,
wow.
it's been so exhilarating to watch people come out and voice or express themselves in support of this madness, and to see them faithful to it. I mean, still in the fight now, today, all this time later, they have not waned. Coming back with information, asking me tough questions. Hey, man, I'm in this, and how do I respond to this? I don't really know because I'm not you. I have not lived what you've lived, but I don't like what's going on, and I don't want to sound ignorant. I want to be informed. And I've had friends of mine that have come back and said, "What book should I buy so that I can get more educated?"
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Right. And I'm like, well, I don't want to really give you the playbook, but the reality is, if we're going to be on the same team, why wouldn't you have the playbook?
Right. That is true. That is true. To know what's going on.
That's what I've learned, and I've gained what once was friends have now become brothers. Since this has happened.
So let me ask y'all this. Oh, go ahead. What's your story? You had a story real quick.
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly say, I went live early last year about the Confederate flag when Mississippi was taking it off of their flag, the Union Jack, taking it off, not the Union Jack, but whatever it's called, the Stars and Bars. So I did a live basically showing that it wasn't just tradition, but it was hate too, right? And Mississippi, and what I did was I just brought up the articles of succession from the state of Mississippi prior to the Civil War, and I read it, and it simply said that we, the state of Mississippi, are dissolving our connections with the United States because we want slaves, and it's our number one, yada yada, verbatim, right? And then I was like, so if this is from the horse's mouth, then this flag represents the thoughts, the feelings, and everything else of these people at this time. Therefore, it was about slavery and subjecting other people to servitude. And so I went that route just to show, and then I ended the live and shut up. So I was like, you can say heritage. I'm still going to say what you said here. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to change this and make this something that it's not. And a friend, I thought to be friend. I still love him. I still love him. But we served in the military together, and then we so happened to be at the police academy in Georgia at the same time together too. And we've had several conversations about, hey yo, so if you pull such and such over, what you doing? I was like, it's going to depend on the situation. I was like, some people are already in financial dire situations. I'm not going to make it worse. If they're non-belligerent and they're not hurting anybody, there's ways around putting them in jail and financially complicating their life. And he was like, well, me, I'm by the book. Same person now that say, Goody, that's not what it meant. Let's just say 2 months later, this same person that didn't have a heart that was having these conversations, and the fact that we was having the conversation, I thought we were growing because at least he's talking about it.
Because sometimes conversations can help.
He gets pulled over for DUI.
Wow.
and he loses his job. And I said all that, and I'm not calling his name by no means because I still love this brother.
Right.
But it's just to show you some people are so deep and steeped in what they were raised in that until you change the hearts and minds of some people, I don't care how good they are, what their intentions are. They're never going to truly be an ally. That's why when Pastor always gives those 3 C's, it's just like the first time I heard it, I was like, wow. Because when we were in the army, he would have took a bullet for me. I would have took
Right.
one for him.
Right. But just for the
Right.
cause.
And the same thing when we became police officers. You know, it is a thin blue line. It really is. And a lot of them aren't bad, but it don't matter about the 15 that ain't bad when you got 4 that's killing people. You know, so
Right.
we had another relationship then, but when you took the army and the police out of the picture, it was like, wow, okay. So no, I said all that just say you're absolutely right, Pastor.
So let me flip it a little bit. So Ephraim threw this in there, which helps kind of transition. He said, "I don't remember any true outrage from the Border Patrol atrocity with the separation of parent and child. Do you feel like we post about things that happen with our other brothers and sisters of of another hue that's not white? Do you like remember the missing children? I remember in where was it? Over in Africa, obviously. Remember Save Our Girls? Remember that campaign?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Save Our
things like
Children.
was it Save Our Children or Save Our Girls? I think. Well, either way,
there was. I know there was a Save Our Girls. There was the
right.
human trafficking, and then the
disappearance. Remember when they took all those girls from the school or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so it's things like that. So are we? I mean, Asian Lives Matter. That was probably like one of the biggest where it seemed like a lot of us came, backed up and things of that nature. But do you feel like we stand up enough for other issues that happen, with from other hues?
I think we have the heart.
Say
Go
again.
ahead, I was going to say I think we had the heart, but I think one of the biggest issues is if you shot on the battlefield and you trying to help somebody else that's shot until you help yourself, it's kind of like being on an airplane. Get your mask, secure your mask first, and then help somebody else. So I think it's kind of hard, but no, it's a fair question. The outrage is there. I don't think it's overall. I don't think it's a collective outrage, but outrage is there. Like in my house, my wife is from the Bahamas, so whenever it comes to anything immigration, this house looks at it a whole lot differently than a typical black house.
It
affects us.
Right. So you look like you're about to really your face changed, Pastor. What's going on? What's your thought on it?
Dwayne hit it. I mean, my thing is it's hard. I tell people all the time, broken people can't help anybody. They first have to help themselves.
I feel you.
Unless I'm healed, that means everything I do. Remember yesterday the conversation about being stained,
right?
Right. If I'm stained and the stains are still wet, anybody that I come in contact with is going to get the stain,
right?
And so it's important. And I'm not saying that you're no longer productive or valuable. I'm just saying that we have to be careful. I've got to get my house in order first. This is about preservation, and the reality is, who is the most oppressed? That's not the question. The point that we have to make is we've had enough of a problem within our community, enough of a problem with our demographic that to complain that we're not helping someone else is ridiculous.
Right.
Because the percentages, and here's the thing, the percentages of oppression when it comes to people are out of balance. Number one, there should be no oppression.
Right.
Number two, how can we experience so much of it for so long and it still be in existence today? And then you complain that because all of a sudden something happens to another race and I'm not screaming at the top of my lungs? Nah, miss me with that. I don't. The reality for me is we have been too broken for anyone to be trying to figure out who we're helping. we have been helping people broken for centuries, for generations. We have built a nation broken.
And to further that, Pastor, just to show what Cole said and what you said, even in my house, me and my wife have arguments, and the arguments that we have are cultural differences. And you want to know what that cultural difference is? It's the fact that my mother, my father grew up in a country where their parents and their parents' parents were treated a certain way, and she comes from the Bahamas. Guess what? They wasn't slaves in the Bahamas. That country is 100% black almost. So the things that I face and we face and we understand differently, the things that we were taught by our parents, they didn't have to teach their kids that because it wasn't a reality for them. Now, I'm not saying that and this is the thing, because she sees everything that we see.
Right.
And now that we have black children in America, right, she feels that too.
Right.
But it only goes back to a certain point, because the argument that we have sometimes, I partially agree with her. She was like, yeah, we know better. We got to do better. I was like, that's true. But you're talking to people who actually know better, who's grown to a place of knowing better. I was like, what about those people who are still in the same conditions that they were created in? Right. And they're in a position because the government and the systems that are in place have kept you there.
Right.
When we have those conversations, she can't understand that. Why? Because just like most immigrants, hey, I got a chance to come to America and do things that I never had the opportunity to do in my country. Right. You mean to tell me I can come over here and I can work three jobs and get rich?
Right.
Well, why can't the dude over in College Park that's over there selling dope, why can't he do the same thing? It is a truth, but it's still not it's not an apples to apples conversation. Right. And it sometimes take a lot to understand those things. So if it's like that with a black person in my own home who I know loves me dearly and would die for me, how do you think I look at a Mexican person who I want support from, or an Asian person who I want support from, or so on and so forth? It's like you can't, beyond your comprehension, beyond your understanding, and beyond your experience, the only thing that can push you to fight and ride for me is love. And
I got you.
But you're speaking, you're going right back to what you just explained with regards to the comparison of, if I can come, I'm excited because I can come to this country and start a business and become wealthy versus someone over in, wherever. I won't name a demographic.
Wherever stand, right?
You might be a business owner in that demographic doing very well. But I guess the point is, that's the conversation about stains,
right?
Because you come with a liberated mindset into an environment where a lot of people have a slave mindset,
right?
And you're comparing yourself, right? And my thing is, you're going to be willing to take chances and take risks that are so measured by other people because of the stains that they have on their life emotionally and mentally. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's like that's a conversation that has to be had, because that's what white people say every day. Well, if I can do it, you can do it.
Right.
This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. No, it's not. Not for us. It's not been there. Now, that doesn't mean we can't make it. Right. I'm just saying that you have a head start.
Right.
We have to run harder, faster. We have to work 3 times as hard.
Right.
It's so amazing. My brother, my younger brother, was born with one hand. At his left hand, he was born without his hand. He had just at the wrist. Normal kid, everything was fine. Played basketball, baseball, did all the things we did. And I'll never forget when I was out of the military. I moved to Champaign, Illinois. And he and I were having a conversation, and he was talking to me about getting disability.
Okay.
And I'm like, disability? You're not disabled.
Right.
You hit home runs just like I did. You got a 3-pointer. You played guard.
Right.
He was like, Brian, don't you know that when I hit a home run, I was swinging with one hand, and when you hit a home run, you were swinging with two? You guys applaud me for hitting a home run, but you don't understand how much harder it was for me to hit the home run.
Right.
Don't you understand there's a difference between dribbling with your whole palm and me dribbling with my wrist? Yeah, I got to shoot a 3-pointer, but I'm not holding the ball with two hands. He goes, yeah, I can do it, but I had to work twice as hard. I mean, this is him talking, and I'm like,
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're not disabled. And he's like,
right. All right.
In this world,
yeah,
I am disabled. I still have abilities, but I still have to work harder.
Right. To get,
and I was trying to tell him to get rid of the excuses, and he was trying to help me understand we're different.
Right.
You got more resources than what I have.
Right.
And that's the problem that people have in America.
Right.
You see us getting up and going to work every day, and you feel like because we get up and go to work every day just like you do, that life is the same for us as it is for you. Right. That's a lie from the pit of hell.
Right.
It's just not the same. And that's tough to explain to people that have never lived it.
Right.
That's tough to explain.
Absolutely.
They see our successes, but don't see how hard we have to work for it.
Right. Cole said we care about other cultures' issues. However, community care and concern has become more internal in nature. We're seeing the overall lack of care other cultures have for us and the influence at all. He also say that again, Dwayne, human nature dictates that one is not fully concerned about things unless it personally affects them. How can others understand racism when they don't face it? Right. But they
do face it.
Yeah. They do.
They do face it. They just ignore it. Right. I mean, the reality is just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right. I mean,
you see it.
Yeah. They're yeah. Even those that
got two words, sympathy and empathy.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's been even those that have supposedly pulled themselves by the bootstrap have had to deal with it. They just chose to ignore it. They chose to get called names in order to sign the contract. They chose to, ignore the looks in order to go on the show.
And they're not ignoring it though, AD. They're not ignoring it. They're just moving forward in spite of it.
Right. That's true.
Right. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not ignorant of it. I'm just moving forward in spite of it, regardless.
Yeah, it's raining. And I could barely see the road, but you know what? My car, the seals in the car are pretty good. I'm dry. And I got windshield wipers, so I'm keeping on trucking.
Right.
It sucks to be out walking out there.
Oh, well, it says, is there levels to the outrage? So we can't bring awareness or post about injustice in other races, ethnicities, because our community has a lot on its plate. That's good.
I agree with that, Willette. I think the difference is because I completely support the fact that we have a problem in this country when it comes to minorities, period.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think to the earlier point, I think it was Cole who said something about the effect or the response based on something happening in our own community. We have more concern when it's our own community. My thing is Asian people fight for themselves. White people fight for themselves.
Okay.
Latinos fight for themselves. Blacks fight for themselves.
Right.
The challenge is when blacks fight, the system is not designed to support the black fight. It does support the Latino, the Asian fight. Right. It does not support the black fight.
Yeah, you become a thug and lawless.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, laws change when something happens to other minorities. Laws don't change when it happens to black folks.
Interesting.
Or at least not as fast.
Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I do kind of agree with that because But then let's just say grabbing them in the fight will help motivate for change to happen quicker. So it's not just us, it's all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like if somehow we can find, because I'm sure Asians have been shot and killed, in America unjustly. Hispanics definitely probably been shot and killed unjustly in America. Like if maybe we could put more images of those, not just us being shot, with the same argument, like, yo, this is not just an us issue, it's a systemic issue.
It's
You think?
but see, here's the thing. What you said is correct, but here's the thing. When you shot or you're killed and there's cameras showing that you were innocent, why does it even flipping matter that you're a black man when it happens? I'm gonna tell you, it shouldn't.
I got you.
It shouldn't. But the fact that when it is a black man,
right.
other people just go about their lives,
right?
Like, oh, well, he did get arrested 3 years ago.
Right.
He did get arrested for shoplifting back in 1999.
Right.
Oh, well, him and his wife got into a fight, and there were several police reports. The man just got shot.
Right.
And body cams show that he did nothing wrong. And you want to bring it. See, here's the problem. Some things shouldn't involve race. It shouldn't have to.
Right.
And then when we do have to go to the race card, because I get tired of people, oh, you're going to play the race. He daggone real. He black, he dead, he didn't do anything wrong, and he getting off. What other card you want me to play? I can't play the human card, because the human card, we wouldn't even have to have this discussion. I can't play good cop, bad cop, because Dylan Roof went to Burger King. What do you want me to do?
Right.
America, what do you want me to do? You don't want me to be the angry black man.
Right.
But that's what you put me to. Like, nobody got to... Man, this country has so many... At the heart of every single conversation we're going to have about this subject is going to come back to the lack of love and the lack of compassion. You don't have to tell me that when they take a Mexican kid away from his Mexican parents and put him in a fenced jail cell, that's not an issue. It shouldn't have to be said. A little white kid shouldn't have to go through that before it's like, oh, wow, that's just messed up.
Right.
A little white boy shouldn't have to be hit in a drive-by before somebody says, oh, that's messed up. But the reality is, that's what has to happen before this country is like, oh, that's messed up.
Right.
All back to a lack of love.
Okay. So let me throw this, because Cole put a good comment up. He said, we should unite with other Caucasians and Caucasians who are truly allies. However, it is, as Malcolm X once says, how can we be united with other cultures when we have a problem being united with ourselves? But should that be an excuse not to be compassionate about the struggles of others? Because a lot of times the struggles of others outside the immigration for Americans, pretty much their struggles affect our struggle. Like I said, outside of immigration,
whites are killed by whites more than whites are killed by blacks.
Facts.
Latinos, Asians, they kill each other more than anyone else kills them.
Right.
So to me, that is the retort. Don't come in here with all that.
He said, I got something to say.
Right.
Morning.
He's like, golden doodles need respect too.
Golden doodles matter. Golden doodle lives matter.
Yeah, my feeling is that there's always going to be division in our community, because there's always going to be division in any community.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that can no longer be the argument.
Right.
I understand what Malcolm X was talking about back then was very, very critical, because it was the changing of a mindset,
right,
for a group of people. That mindset has been changed. We still have issues, but every race has issues internally.
Right.
Okay. Last time I checked, there are white Republicans and there are white Democrats
fighting.
All right. last time I checked, if you look at the statistics, when you look at crime rates,
right,
you are more likely to be assaulted by someone in your own community of your own race than someone from a different community or a different race. That's just the reality. So I think it's important that we come together, and that's why I said earlier that I don't want to target other races, not racists.
Races, right?
I don't want to target other races and say we need more help from the Asian community or we need more help from the white community. I want to go back to something Ephraim said earlier, right? We need to settle on one foundational truth. And anyone who agrees with that should be a part of the fight. And it doesn't matter what your denomination, your race, your belief, your culture, but none of that matters. All that matters is that you believe no one should have to experience systemic injustice or racial inequality in what's supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. That's the reality. And so if you agree with that, I don't care what the color of your skin is.
You know what, Pastor? That's when I was and you probably got a similar story, and anybody who's been in the military probably got a similar story. When I was in the military, when I was in the Army, that was everything that we stood on. Mm-hmm. We used to have sayings like this: "We the biggest gang in the world."
Yeah.
What's your colors? Green.
Right.
Green.
That's what we used to say.
That's it.
And it was like, look, I ain't worried about it because we're in the foxhole. I'm all you got, you all I got.
Right.
So we had some common grounds. We had some common goals.
But I, you know what happened? This is the conversation I had with a guy in the military years ago. I told him, I said, my problem with you is what happens when you take the uniform off.
Right. And that's what I was getting at. Yep.
Right. Because if you don't feel this way when the uniform is off, it doesn't give me much comfort.
Right.
Even when you have the uniform on.
Right.
Because even on the battlefield, if you had to save me, and you had to compare saving me with saving someone who looks like you.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So there's levels to that.
I'm gonna give you a personal story, Pastor. Here we go, AD. So I'm in Junction City, Kansas, stationed at Fort Riley. My first sergeant was a Vietnam era first sergeant. Soldier. I don't know if he's still alive, but his name was First Sergeant Hofragi. First Sergeant Hofragi, he received several awards, including some Purple Hearts. He had this crazy scar across his face where he caught shrapnel from a grenade saving a soldier in his platoon. Mm-hmm. So fast forward 19, 20 years later, he's my first sergeant. And I'm a black dude. Right. And I said to myself, I want to go somewhere where there's not a lot of black people club-wise, because I didn't want no competition when I was on my hunt. So I was like, I want to find a spot where there ain't a whole lot of black people.
Right.
So I found out about this country western bar.
Okay. And
I was a hit. It was a karaoke bar. I went in there singing Garth Brooks' "Don't Take the Girl," and people started looking at me like, "Ooh, he." So I didn't know that my first sergeant had a table in there in the back corner weekly. Didn't know that. But there were some other soldiers from my company, people that I saw multiple times a day, and we did PT in the morning together. We did the last formation of the day together, and they had their own friends. Well, one of their friends had an issue with me because I was a little dark, and they didn't think I belonged in there.
Okay.
And I look at the table, and a dude from my unit is sitting at the table, but he's super quiet. He ain't saying nothing.
All right.
These dudes, they ain't calling me the N-word, but they saying a whole lot of stuff. And then they get up like they want to fight. I ain't running from nobody. You ain't shooting me in my back. That's how that was the young, stupid me.
Right.
But all of a sudden, I hear this voice that was oh so familiar. And it was the first sergeant. And guess who the first sergeant had beef with? The soldiers that were in our unit that were sitting at the table while somebody from outside of our unit was threatening me, and they were supposed to be my brothers. It was at that moment that I felt like, and Pastor may feel the same thing. In the Army, in the military, you can go several places. You can go to Hawaii. You can go to Alaska. You can go to some beautiful places and places like, oh God, why you be here? But it's the people that make the unit. And that's why I always tell people one of my favorite duty stations was Kansas, because it felt like a family. Here's a man who only known me for like 2 months.
Right.
Didn't know anything about me, but I was one of his soldiers. And then when he saw other soldiers not taking up for me, it didn't have to be a battlefield for him, because he lived what he walked what he lived and what he uttered. So it was one of those moments where I saw what leadership's supposed to look like in situations like that. It don't matter if we look the same, we got things in common the same. When it comes to the bond that we're supposed to have, there's no excuses when you're not living that. Not when you belong to this organization.
Right. Interesting. Oh,
that movie. Remember the movie 21 Bridges?
Yes.
I gotta look it up. I gotta put it on the list. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I remember it when he was stuck in the
Black Panther.
I know. I'm trying to remember Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a scene in the movie where a corrupt cop is asking Chadwick Boseman, because Chadwick Boseman is investigating this gruesome murder scene,
right?
And cops got killed,
right?
And the captain says, "I need to know that you're going to make these people pay for what they did to my cops, to my officers." And Chadwick Boseman says, "If you wear the uniform, I got your back." And that took me straight back to the military, because my response to that was, if you don't wear the uniform, I don't have your back.
Right.
Because he was saying it's all about the blue in the movie.
Right.
Right. And I love what Cole said, because Jesus said it's all about the blood.
Right.
You understand? And we have to have a mindset that it's all about the blood. It's all about what's on the inside,
right?
Regardless of what the color of your skin is. Man looks on the outward appearance. That's what the Bible says. But God looks on the heart. So when I interact with people, I have to see them through the lens of the Lord and not through their hue, the color of their skin. In other words, I believe everything you say till you show me different.
Of course. Definitely.
Treat people like you want to be treated. And it's really that simple. And if everybody could have that mindset, because I've learned this. What was that woman's name, Janet, who did all the training on race relations, that teacher, the old white lady?
Yeah, Janet. I can see her face.
And she asked a group of white people in the theater, in a auditorium. Right. She said, if any of you are willing to experience what black people deal with every day, I want you to raise your hand.
Right.
Room full of white people.
Right.
And no one raised their hand. She said, well, maybe you didn't hear the question. She said, Jane Elliott. I'm sorry. Jane Elliott.
Jane Elliott.
If any of you are willing to experience what black people experience in this country on a regular basis, I need you to raise your hand.
Right.
And she's like, the fact that none of you raised your hand means you know what's going on.
Problem. You know there's a problem.
You understand that there's a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you sit idly by and you don't do anything. And that's the issue. Right. That's why they have to be called out, because if you're not willing to live it, then you know there's a problem. And in America, we won't admit that there's a problem.
Right.
Wow.
So when you talk about facing it, they face it. They see it every day.
Right. Let's see. Cole said, funny you say that, Dwayne. I looked at those jokers when I was in the Army who would say all for one and one for all, and knew that they wouldn't urinate on me if I was on fire, sans a uniform.
Yep.
And I felt that I felt that way with those who looked like me and those who did not or didn't.
Yeah.
Right. He said we need to settle on one foundational truth. Therein lies the problem, because every culture doesn't want to settle on such a foundational truth. So we are coming to a close, but how? Okay, so and I pose this question because I talk about the 13%. The Hispanic community is at around 29% based on the census. Oh, we done changed up. Camera. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. So there we go. Oh, so like I said, I asked that. Okay. All right, Pastor, appreciate you. So I asked that because, like I said, there's so many struggles happening, so many fights happening. How can we, fight for each other and increase our impact and effectiveness? So that's one of the reasons I wanted to ask this question. So rolling into what we're going to talk about tomorrow and our 13% and trying to increase that is talking about voting. How to, vote in a bigger block. And I want to talk about what was the thing called? I just had it in my hand. I looked it up. Ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. I'm definitely going to send my brothers some videos so they can understand what ranked choice voting is. But it'll actually help this country as far as introducing more parties onto the national stage. And it will allow you to vote who you really want to vote for without wasting your vote. So we definitely going to dig into that. Yeah, because we definitely need to break up this country when it comes to just these two main parties who love it, who love to stay in power, and they might fight each other. But if all I got to fight is one other party to win the world, I can't. Still got you on mute. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So ranked choice voting. I promise you, this is going to be a great conversation. I think what's tomorrow? Thursday? Wonderful. We got E, we got Terry in the building, so we're going to really dig into it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
No, I was just going to say that's
appreciate you, Cole.
Going to be a good topic. The only question I'm going to have is it going to be enough to sway the majority? Because that's where
you got to
break up that Democrat Republican. If you can, the Republicans are doing a good job of it right now with the Trumplicans and the traditional Republicans, if you will.
But see, if you look up, and other states have adopted ranked choice voting, it gives you an opportunity to vote for more than one person for a particular area. And we'll break down how it works.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into that. That sounds a little.
Listen, I think some parts of Africa have over 25 different people. There's so many different parties, running in the government, so it's not put on just these two parties. So it gives people an opportunity to really vote, for a party that aligns with their belief system. And now you're not settling at least as much, because, there's always going to be I don't agree with that one thing, but it ain't worth leaving you for, so it's all, yeah. So we're going to really dig into that. Yeah. Never heard. Yeah. It's really, yeah. So, all right. So make sure you text, I changed it up, and LWN, and we're going to talk more about that. That's Legacy Walker Network, with all of the shows combined together.
Oh, sugar, now CEO.
So we're building something. So make sure you text LWN to 84576. And all the ladies, if you missed out on yesterday's show, they spoke about health and wellness, the Sisters of Legacy, and they posed a challenge. So make sure you put your steps challenge in the Sisters of Legacy Facebook page to show where you're at, and so your increase or your growth to double your steps. All right. So we look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Same place, same channel. Thank you, Mama Corey. Appreciate you always being here. Yes, indeed, Ashley. It's going to be great. And V, appreciate you. All right. So
quick segue, bro. If I may.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
You talking about the Sisters of Legacy last night was talking about health and wellness. Well, brothers, yes. As you can see, I got a little gray on my chin, so I've eclipsed that 40-year mark or whatever. And they tell us that colon cancer is super high in brothers. So yeah, go in. Yeah, I got to go see somebody today. I don't know how I feel about it, but stay healthy out there, brothers.
I think
get your colons checked, get detox and cleansed.
they got another way of checking it now. You know, because we're men, they found another way.
I'm glad. Look, I look.
Unfortunately, they don't ever upgrade for women to find new ways to get tests, but they've upgraded for us.
Well, whoever came up with this new method, if that's the method that I end up having to partake in, I'm gonna find his name and I'm gonna send him some flowers.
Yes, indeed.
Because that's the biggest fear in the world for me right now. Nobody going up in places they ain't supposed to be.
Oh, appreciate you, Deborah and Cheryl. So yeah, make sure you guys are here, and we definitely going to talk about health and wellness. I'm my wife, she one up me. She had a doctor on her show, so I gotta find me particularly a black doctor, because I want to talk about our health and wellness and the vaccine, and I want to make sure I get somebody who's knowledgeable about the vaccine, because I'm gonna let them know we're gonna go in on a lot of questions. So be prepared. You know, we're gonna hit you with even the conspiracy theories. I need you to give us some honest answers.
I have to check with it. Okay. I got a couple. Well, one's a chiropractor, so he don't count. But I do.
Well, he come in and talk about that too, because people have fear of chiropractors, and I love chiropractors. Are like the bomb.
I have a childhood friend. She's Indian.
Okay.
Asian Indian. I don't know what her schedule's like, but yeah, she took the vaccine months ago.
Right.
But I can see if you would want her on the show, I can.
Well, I want to. I'd rather get a male doctor. Yeah, I want a male doctor. I mean, and not to discredit, because if
I get it.
But just to keep the flow of it, and I appreciate it, and maybe we may check it out later. But for the first time. Yeah, right, Deborah. Chiropractors are the bomb. Don't be fearful. Don't listen to the hype. They've changed my life several times. So right. Like, breathe.
I could do that again.
I was like, whoa. Yeah, so yeah, chiropractors are amazing. But anyway, you gotta get the right one. You gotta get the right one. Because I've had a bad one. But we'll dig into that later. All right, guys. Appreciate you rocking with us and hanging with us. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Same channel, same place, same time. And make sure you share, and tag somebody. Go to our Facebook page. Make sure you like, and then go in there and share all the likes to your other people. All right. We'll see you in the morning. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition. Good morning.